From the Hanging with Web Show TV's Bargain Basement Studio in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, it's Pillow Talk with Willow Schuyler.
Will you take me to Winnipeg?
I will, someday. Toronto, Montreal, Quebec, Winnipeg.
Now what's this guy doing up here in Manitoba?
He was holding the map up.
Every salvage mission that's been through this system has disappeared. Even those old pirates out at Winnipeg Drift say it's cursed.
Cursed. Winnipeg's got a great ballet. Have a good time, I swear to God.
Sweet guinea pig of Winnipeg! They've taken over our company!
Balderdash! I never agreed to that!
I should have stayed in Winnipeg, you know? I had a nice gallery, 3 paintings in the wall.
Are you kidding? And you look back. Born home, Quebec. Drafted out of the juniors in the 5th round to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Played for a year with the Leafs, then traded to the Winnipeg Jets, then to Calgary, then to Boston.
Wow.
So Winnipeg must get pretty cold up there.
That's it! Back to Winnipeg!
Hey everyone, welcome to Willow's Pillow Talk. It's a twofer this week. I have with me Theresa Dunn, author of Poetry Expressions 2. So tell me about how you planned this book and tell me about your book.
My book is Poetry Expressions, right here. Is based on a lot of different things that I observe, and I put them into poems. And sometimes it's with feeling and out from my heart, and just things around me, nature, and watching people, observing different things going on. And I mainly just come up with it in my head, whether it's I'm awake or I'm asleep, but just ends up in my head, and I put it down on paper. And I mainly write what I write, and I have fun doing it. And I have a lot of inspiration. I got my husband and my son helping, and
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. I like writing, and that's what I do.
And holy crap. Carlene, Brian's here, Alfred. Thanks for joining us here, guys. Speaking of the whole group and the gang, most of them, I'm sure you've known them for a lot longer than I have. How do your friends inspire you to keep writing?
Well, a lot of them, I listen to them on Brian's show, and Carl and Donna. I just listen to what they do on their show, and I kind of get ideas from that. And a lot of it's hysterical and funny, and they inspire me a lot. Brian inspires me a lot because I watch him on his show, and he's actually my editor anyway, and he gives me good ideas.
Oh, okay. So he's here to make sure that you're publicizing your book enough. And my husband is in the chat room as well. He's behind me. Awesome. So, how did you come about writing your book?
How do I come up with what now?
How did you come up with writing poetry?
I've seen somebody else do it before. Actually, I started to put my feelings down in a journal, and I think I saw it on Facebook or somewhere that somebody was making poems out of it. So I thought, well, I could could do that. And I tried it, and I just started coming up with them.
Okay.
And
you found your niche.
Yeah. But the second book's much better than the first book, I think. I've had a lot of people in my background that has encouraged me to, write what I feel, and mainly about things that I deal with depression a lot and anxiety, and it's what it is. It's therapeutic mainly. It's very therapeutic.
Okay.
And just writing on a piece of paper, anything. And if we have bad feelings, I was told write the bad feelings down and burn the paper up. So, but it helped me a lot.
Carl has a question. Is your second book selling as well as the first one?
Yes, it is. Yes. Very much so, because I think my group of people, a lot of them that are buying them are people that are have Christian values, like a lot of the Christian poems I put in there, and things like that. And a lot of them was from my church, but others were like people around my neighborhood or around town, and at my husband's dialysis.
Oh, wow.
Actually, and I've actually sold them at restaurants.
Okay.
So I've got friends that are restaurants, and friends that are actually school friends, and a lot of people I met on Facebook. So.
Oh, wow. And Carl has the follow-up question with, is it harder to sell a second book? How it's like comparable? How are the two books selling?
Well, actually, my first book is still selling. I've had people ask for my first book too. Still,
oh, nice!
I'm still selling my first book. So I'm selling both of them, really.
Oh, that's fantastic!
My second book actually sold faster.
Okay.
And that's a good thing.
We have Brian here. You're a really good promoter. What made you want to get into the thick of writing, the writing lifestyle?
Oh my gosh.
You're really putting her on the spot here.
I think he knows the answer to that question. I really don't know. What does he call me, a good promoter? I think why it tells me that is because I've actually got out and I went around. I actually asked the newspaper. I've asked to be interviewed. I find that if you don't get out and promote and try and get out there, the harder you work to do it, the more people see you, the more people notice what you're doing, and they actually get a taste of what your books are about if you get out and tell them about them, and get as much audience as you can. The more hard you work, the more you're worthy of the hard work. So, and it's making me want to write more, actually.
And do you have a favorite poetry author?
Yeah, I like Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, anybody that writes a song is actually a good poet. Not many people know that.
I think that's pretty much a dying craft now, writing sonnets. Well, no.
I've actually had my pastor's wife tell me that I write poetry just like her daughter writes songs. So
That's true.
I don't know. I've never actually tried to write a song, but poems is more, you can, listen to music and write poems, so that's what I do a lot of times. So, poetry is music to my heart, you might say.
Sorry, I just came across this funny question. Does a big ego help or hurt writers?
What's that?
I'm sure this doesn't apply to you at all, but having an ego, does it help or hurt writers?
Some writers do have an ego, but I'm not one of them. I've actually had to have a lot of encouragement along the way, because I still find it hard that my people actually think my poetry is impressive, and I don't know. I don't have an ego, but I know somebody does, but I will not mention that person.
I think he outed himself for us.
Oh, gee, I kind of figured that. He doesn't have that guy of an ego. I think there's many out there that are worse.
See, with our group though, like we tend to help each other out, which is great. Like a lot, I've been with other broadcasting groups, and it never was like the group that we're a part of. Like you guys are just fantastic. You guys, every time I see you guys pushing your stuff and helping us out in the chat, it kind of brings a tear to my eye. And knowing that if I have any questions, you guys will answer them right away, which is great. Does writing energize you or exhaust you?
Actually, it energizes me. There are days I've had stressful days, but it had nothing to do with writing. If I write, it's kind of therapeutic, like I said. So, no, it's not stressful, but what's kind of stressful is trying to get it done and wanting it done and when you want it done. And getting it edited.
I know you said that Brian reads your stuff and helps you out. I'm sure, like he's a fair editor, right?
Yeah, he's helped me quite a bit. He can be a little harsh, but actually he's really helped a lot. He's a good editor.
That's awesome. If you can tell your younger writer self anything, what would it be?
Well, mainly stick to it. Always keep writing down your thoughts and whatever you think of something, write it down and just keep writing. Writing is therapeutic. And the more you write, the more you got readers. And just keep at it. Don't ever give up.
What was an early experience when you learned that language had power?
Oh, man. I was a teenager, actually, I think, pretty much. Language arts teacher, actually. And that's where it all started. I started writing, making up stories, and yeah. I was always encouraged to write. I didn't really do as much writing as I should have. I didn't really pick up on it, which was crazy. I should have listened, and I wouldn't be doing it this late in life, but since I have been, actually I love doing it, and I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I don't think there's an age limit when it comes to writing, quite honestly. It's if you feel it, you need to write it. So.
Well, I did. I wrote something I shouldn't have, though. And
no.
My parents, it was something I made up, and my parents found it, and they thought I ran away with some guy, and oh boy, I quit writing after that, pretty much, and I didn't want to attempt to write again because I thought if I did, it'd get me in trouble, but I had a mind back then that would got me in trouble. Yeah.
Oh no. Was it very explicit? Very adult oriented?
Yeah. Somewhat.
Well, I won't ask you to read that here right now. That'll be another show.
I actually have wrote some, but I'm not reading it out loud. So.
Do you write any fanfic, or have you wrote any fanfic?
Kinda.
Kinda.
Actually, I'm going to break away from writing poems sooner or later, but I'm going to write a third poetry book, but my novel I'm going to write it, I might go under another name.
Okay.
So that nobody knows who it is.
Wow.
It might be something interesting. So I've had ideas, and I've worked around that. Though I went and did my poetry, and I just want to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Some of it.
Are you hoping that one day that you can turn it into a full-time career? Or are you just liking it as a hobby right now?
Well, right now it's fun to be a hobby right now, but being a career, I'd like to. If I'm getting good enough, I am good enough, but I'd like to get better. Let's put it that way. I want to get better, and I want to experience more things to do with publishing and things like that. I love to learn.
Teresa's going to write it under my name if it's naughty. We'll make sure that we sign it Rising Tide Publications. So you're planning on writing a third book. Do you have more poetry that didn't make it to the first or second book that you're going to put into the third one?
Yeah, I do. I've got lots of things in my mind, and still going. So I don't know how fast it'll be out there, though. I've had a lot of things that has been going on here lately that kind of kept me from writing. So my husband was experiencing feeling sick and whatever, and getting on dialysis. That kind of brought me down, and I didn't have the thing I didn't really want to write, and I was worried about him and stuff, but now that he's getting better, I'm going to start back at it, so.
Okay.
Maybe more. Hopefully a lot more in the third book.
Yeah. When you write your poetry, do you have like a set, like I know some poems have like a set amount of rules of how you write it. Do you listen to those rules, or do you just go off your own path?
Well, I had a little help with that. I just write them the way I write them. But if I ask, have the editor help me out a lot.
Okay.
And, a lot of things I probably leave out, a lot of things that I need to add. But as far as there are different types of ways. I was told this today, which I didn't know, but there are different types of poetry you can write. Different ways you can write it. There's really no specific way to write a poem, as long as you you have to what do I want to say put it in perspective to where people would understand it, maybe. Things like that. But a lot of people think that poems are just rhyming words, but not always. You can just write it the way you write it, the way you feel from your heart, and it doesn't have to be a bunch of words. It could be just words, small words, a group of words, or not a whole. You can do it in paragraphs and just words. So I guess a lot of people, at least that's what this person was telling me today. But everybody writes differently. But you don't have to write poems that rhyme.
Yeah.
Because if you start doing that, it'll drive you cuckoo. At least it did me.
And do you find you're getting the support you need from your family, or is that are they still up in the air when it comes to your poetry?
Well, some of my family, my husband, my son, they're supportive, but I'm still working on other family members. I have a sister that's supportive, and a daughter that's supportive, but I'm working on that. My brother and a few others. Actually, they don't understand poetry.
Yeah. Grant has a question. Have you ever had somebody set your poems to music?
No.
I'm sure we can help you with that. When we start promoting the third book. Oh, I mean, that'd be a great way to promote the second book, or both the first and the second book. Is we can definitely put your name out there by making cheesy little videos with music and with your poems. I know people who have sexy voices.
I know some of those people. Actually, I'd like to see somebody take one of my poems and make a song out of it, honestly. So, it'd be interesting.
We can definitely help you with that, for sure. Yes, Grant, I am offering to help. Hint, hint. No. Would you consider doing like a reading day for your poems?
Possibly.
Would be
I would like to read a poem, but did you want me to read one tonight? I mean,
go right ahead. Yeah, by all means, read us some of your stuff.
Okay. How about, okay, this one's called Words Can Hurt. Words can hurt. Don't know why, but all I know is they make me cry. Words can hurt. Why do they bully me? I'm innocent, but do they see? Words can hurt. but will they see that their cruel words are hurting me? If only all words would stop, I would get feeling better again. This one's called Anger. Anger is fire that burns in my soul. Anger is tears that flood my heart. Anger is fear that scares me to death. Anger is truth that fills my head. Anger is lies that breaks my heart. But most of all, anger is cruel, and that's hard.
That's sweet. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Yeah. Thank you.
How many hours? Sorry? I was just going to ask, how many hours do you try to spend writing every day?
I'd say maybe an hour or a couple hours, and every other day I do that because my husband goes to dialysis, and that gives me time to, I used to go with him, and that's where I did a lot of my writing, but you can't go with him, so
yeah,
because of COVID. But it was peaceful up there, and I don't know, everybody I met up there kind of gave me inspiration coming in and coming out. It's kind of sad, but yeah, I spend like an hour or 2 hours every other day, and
okay,
pretty much. And like some days I feel like writing more.
And Grant here with another great question. Do your friends or family ever figure out that the poem is about them?
No.
We're going to see a lot of poems written about Brian in the next little while. We're not going to tell them. What period of your life do you find you write most often about?
When I find, what? Repeat that.
Oh, sorry. What period of your life do you write mostly about?
Honestly, happier times are now, really. I mean, it might not seem like it with COVID and that, but really, that was a easier time, and until I met his family, my in-laws, and then it went downhill after that. But as of now, my children are grown, and just me and my husband, and now my son, because he's home now. It's happier times. I mean, to see my son home and being able to help me and his dad, and family time. We haven't had family time with him for 12 years, so we're just enjoying having him home. So it's a happier time now. And
do you find that
I'm just happy we don't have 3 feet of snow right now.
Okay. Do you find that COVID actually kind of helped you more with your writing?
Not in the beginning it didn't. I mean, COVID kind of had me scared. I mean, I was scared and struggled with that. But as far as now, I have no struggle with it. I mean, it's actually helped me stay closer to home, just being able to stay at home and do stuff. I mean, write and that, more peaceful. And actually, I've been stuck home too much. I'm actually ready to go back to church and go back to shopping, go back to, doing things like I used to. So.
Do you ever suffer from a writer's block? And how do you how do you go about fixing that?
Actually, I've had a coach do that. He kept telling me to keep writing and keep at it. He knows who he is. You just keep writing. And I actually have found other things to do. I have other therapeutic stuff to do. I like coloring in those coloring books and stuff like that. That kind of inspires me. So.
I know you touched on a couple of your inspirations, but Carl, inspired by were you inspired by any famous poets or writers?
I can't even name half of them. Edgar Allan Poe was, but actually, not really. I was inspired mainly by Brian, maybe. He's not a poet, but it was one of his books that kind of inspired me. So,
okay.
One called Fantasy.
Do you purchase any poetry books while you're out at a bookstore?
No, not here lately, because there's no bookstores around here. I have to go out of town to a bookstore.
Oh.
And no, I haven't got any poetry, but I've had people actually send me poetry.
Okay.
And stuff like that. And I actually read stuff on the internet, poems of people, certain people. But actually, I just like writing my own poems. And Edgar Allan Poe is one of them I actually have read, but I don't get to go to the bookstore much. A lot of the places are closing around here because of COVID.
Yeah.
So, and we don't even have a bookstore here, and the closest town that did have a bookstore, they've actually closed in the mall. So, yeah, I live in a town of nowhere. Really, I mean, it's between two different states, and most of them, it's like 90 miles or more to go to a bookstore.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to do when your husband's on dialysis, but when I do go to a bookstore, I do look for poems or poetry, and I do like looking for a lot of my favorite authors too. I do like reading more than just poetry.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite authors is Cass Edwards. So.
Do you read to your husband while he's doing his dialysis?
No, because they won't let me in there to read to him. But
you need to call him on the phone.
I do read my poems to him, and he likes my poems. He says because I suggest reading some other poetry, and he doesn't want to read it. So.
Yeah.
But he does like reading my poems to me.
Oh, that's nice.
So he's my biggest fan. So, and none of my poems are about him, so he knows that.
And how does he find your poetry? Does it ever make him cry?
Well, actually, no, because he's been with me thick and thin with everything that's gone on with me, and he knows a lot of the poetry is stuff that I've gone through. And actually, I don't think he cries, really. I mean, they do, I think, make him might bother him emotionally. I don't know, he never shows me, though. I mean, he's not much of a crier.
Yeah.
He knows where I'm coming from anyway.
My husband's. I joke around about this, but my husband often is the most romantic one out of us two. Do you find that your husband has a bit more of a romance button than you do, or is it equal?
Well, he spoils me. That's what you mean. As far as buying flowers, he doesn't do that. But actually, I don't ask for flowers, but he does buy me jewelry.
Aww.
He was it. Don't be looking at me. You're looking at me. Are you a romantic?
I tend to I'll do the odd romantic thing. I made my husband bacon roses for Valentine's Day one year. We argue about when we first started dating, and I thought it was on Valentine's Day 2001. He argued with me about it being the week before. But there was one day where we had a huge argument. He went off to work. He went off to work mad. I went off to work mad. And I came home. I made bacon roses to make up for my little slip up. 7 years ago. He still has the pictures. He still has the note that I wrote him. He's the one who keeps all that. So I don't know. Do you keep all the notes that your husband writes?
He don't write. Actually, I kind of was the romantic one in the beginning. For Valentine's Day, I bought him a cake. I remember doing that. But as far as flowers, flowers die after a while, according to him. And he knows I like roses, so I got rose bushes all over my house, around my house. So. But usually if I ask for anything, he usually gets it for me. I don't really have to beg for it or anything, but I've been told my husband spoils me. Is it true?
I'm sorry? Oh.
He said yes. He spoils me. He can be romantic in his own way. Right?
Guys deserve to be romanticized.
After 38 years, you get over it.
Now he's being hungry. Actually, we know each other well, and usually knows when I'm down, and he's romantic in that way. He always brings me up, so
Yeah.
I take him the way he is. So we've loved each other for 38 years.
That's
a long
cute.
time.
Oh no. Tell Albert to get his own show. I hear him in the background. Hey, husbands and wives are allowed to talk during their spouses' shows, right?
Brian knows him. He's met Albert, so he knows him. And he's not easy to get on with when he's not feeling good. So,
we need
over the years, the years with dialysis and all, he's changed. So, I put up with
okay. How did publishing your first book change your whole change the process of your writing?
Actually, it's changed me a lot. I mean, I know I can do it now, and I don't have to rely on a lot of people anymore, except for an editor. But I think it's a move forward to better writing. So, publishing my first book was a good thing. Actually, I'm excited and ready to go promote some more. And hopefully next time I can do my own book without always having to ask for help.
Yeah. So Brian made a comment. Yeah, no, they aren't about shouting out during our broadcasts. Cookie needs her own show. I think that should be a new hashtag. Give Cookie a new show. I think we need to give Joe his own show once in a while too. Hey, Joe?
What?
Yeah, I think you need your own show.
For what?
I don't know. You're a car guy.
Probably not a good idea.
So, okay. I'm sorry?
Supportive with what you do.
Theresa, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, just want to make sure. Sorry, kind of jumped off the rails for a moment there. When you started to sell your books, what was the first thing that you thought of buying with the money from your first book?
Business cards, more books, really. I've actually sold more of my books than Amazon has. So that's mainly what I did, is bought business cards and more books to sell on my own.
Okay.
And I actually just kept going to different people and asking them to buy my book, and it got to a point where I couldn't catch up with keeping books. And it's kind of getting that way again with this book. The first book was that way, and now I'm doing it again. And it's really a lot of fun. I'm still thinking about buying the things I need to set up when I go to book shows too, like things to set my books on and stuff like that, and different different things for swag and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
just, keep ahead of myself anyway.
Would you consider doing a digital download for your books at all, or do you want to just keep it the physical copy?
Download's fine. I mean, that's okay with me.
Whatever gets you more money, right?
Of course.
Do you prefer the physical copies of books over the digital?
I haven't gotten to digital yet. I'm thinking about it. Actually, I kind of have to talk to somebody about that. They know who they are. But a digital copy sounds good.
Okay. Well, I'm always willing to help come up with these ideas.
Oh, that's good. I'm going to look up on you.
Do you? Okay. I know a lot of people don't like reading reviews for things, but do you ever read the reviews from your books?
Yeah. Actually, the reviews from my first book, there were some interesting ones. There was somebody that there are some bad reviews. Only this person was not a nice person, but they said it had something to do. They thought the whole book was about my father. See, I wrote the first poetry book about, I wrote an essay in the back of the book about how I was abused by my father. And the review that came back, one of the reviews that came back, the person said my father wasn't alive to help himself out or whatever. But, I do read my reviews, and I've been quite pleased, really, except for that one bad review. So, yeah, I do read the reviews, but actually word of mouth is good, too.
Yeah.
So, it's always good to get a review, but I've actually told people to go back and give me a review, but they never do it. But they'll tell me to my face what they think of it. So I take that as a good thing. But it's better to get a review on Amazon than to just get word of mouth, I hear. Because the more reviews you get, the more people buy it.
What was your favorite childhood book?
Charlotte's Web. Have you read that?
Sorry, which one?
Charlotte's Web.
Yes, I have.
That was one of my favorite books. Charlotte's Web and Little House on the Prairie were my favorite childhood books. And no, it's not exactly a Dr. Seuss fan, but everybody likes Dr. Seuss. But I was a Laura Ingalls Wilder fan, and the Charlotte's Web.
Okay. Charlotte's Web was such a great book. I don't know. There's just so many good books out there. We did a lot of interesting books in school. Of Mice and Men is another great book that I remember reading in English class.
I remember reading Pippi Longstocking.
I've never read those books, but I remember watching the cartoon.
Yeah. We always did like Pippi Longstocking, and a lot of us girls used to go to school with our hair like that. But yeah, I remember those books, but there are so many.
Yeah.
We actually did not like reading the books when we first started school, like Dick and Jane and books like that. Honestly, I didn't like those books.
Me either. I like. Yeah, they were supposed to help you read, but I don't know. I kind of hated those books because it almost made me feel like I was stupid reading them.
There you go. But believe it or not, they're coming out with other children's books now, and some of them are not a book I would not let my kids read.
Yeah.
Actually. And but those books back then were just, I don't know why they made us read those.
I never understood why they made us read those either. Once I actually started to advance more into reading, I was glad that my teachers picked up on the fact that I had a higher reading capability than reading those.
Exactly. My brother actually took me to the library, public library, and said, "Here, start reading these books. You might like them better." Because I didn't like reading those books.
Yeah.
As I got older, I started reading books I shouldn't have read. So.
Pretty much. High school, I spent reading Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I took that book out several times. Dracula, took that book out a couple times. I wanted to read most of the classics.
Yep.
I have a copy of The Crucible somewhere in my house that I've read a couple times.
Yeah, those are, I don't know. Actually, there were books in our high school library that I really wondered why they had them. Because actually, they were naughty books.
Oh.
Yeah,
did you?
We did.
Did you read any of the Charles Dickens stuff as a kid?
Not really. I didn't read any of those.
No.
I read stuff like Lord of the Rings, stuff like that, because we had like things in language arts we had to do, and we actually had to read the Bible. And this is a normal high school now. It looks like that. Lord of the Rings, and I can't even remember half of them, but I really didn't like Lord of the Rings, and I didn't like the movie either.
Oh, really?
I like reading like my son back then. My son now likes reading stories about vampires and things like that, and zombie stuff. He's a zombie freak. So,
okay.
But I used to like vampire stories and werewolves, stuff like that. I guess I might have been weird. I don't know, but I didn't like reading. I like reading romance stuff, but I like reading vampire stories and things like that. And,
were you an Anne Rice fan or V.C. Andrews?
Do I what?
Were you an Anne Rice fan?
Kind of. I don't know. I might have. Actually, I've got some good ideas from those kind of books for some things I write.
Okay.
But nobody sees my writing. I keep my writing to myself. I actually have read to my husband, and he told me I'm naughty, so.
Oh, no. See, yeah, BC Andrews, like, I tried reading some of her stuff, and I'm not much of a fan. Although R.L. Stine, the Fear Street books just grasped my brain for so long, and I remember reading those books to my foster brother, and he was like 8 or 9, and while I was reading them before going to bed, I don't ask. I wanted to torture him, I guess. But I mean, hey, Arlstein created Goosebumps, so obviously it wasn't that scary.
I've actually seen some of those scary movies when I shouldn't have seen some of them. I've actually seen naughty movies. My father was what you call a projectionist for movie theater, and I was able to see movies for free. And being a little girl, my dad used to take my mom and my sister and myself to the drive-in movie, and he'd be running the movies. But the type of movies that would be playing would either be ones that are vampire movies or some with dirty, naughty stuff. And my sister would always push my head down and say, "No, you can't watch. No, you can't watch."
Oh no!
They finally got tired of doing it, and actually, I started out at a very young age, watching naughty movies I shouldn't have been watching. So, actually, I was a naughty girl, and that's where I get a lot of my naughty ideas. And,
you're more progressive than most Christians.
I was, but I had to keep it to myself because, like I said, when I was 14, I got in trouble writing. I did a lot of writing, and it was not good. But later years, I started finding out that I could write that, stuff like erotica, but I never wanted to really think about getting it published.
Yeah.
Because there's just too many people out there that don't want to know that side of me.
Do you still have any of the stuff that you wrote when you were a kid?
No. Actually, some of the stuff got thrown away. Not by me, though. Actually, my parents did that. I was kind of really grounded for a long time. So, no. I pretty much have to start all over. If I think about writing erotica or anything like that, but actually I don't want people to know that. Especially family. And it's a side that I'm going to keep under the wraps.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight, and let everybody know where we can find you where we can find your book and where we can find you on social media.
Well, actually, my book's on Amazon. Underneath Theresa, it's under Theresa Dunn or Theresa D. Dunn. It'll take you right to it. Just ask for Poetry Expressions by Theresa Dunn. And actually, I've got a group on Facebook where I do poetry writing, but they have to ask to get invited to it in order to see it. It's called Poetry Expressions, and just ask me on Facebook, if you want in, let them in.
Okay.
So, mention, and if you want to, I'm on Goodreads, Books A Million, and stuff, places like that. I know my books everywhere, all over the place, I hear. So, Amazon, so.
Okay.
I'm all over the world, just like Brian.
Well, it was really nice meeting you and really nice hanging out with you tonight. I really hope that things turn out better for you guys. Good luck with the next. Good luck with the next book. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
And
thank you for having me.
No problem.
Nice to meet you, and it's fun.
We'll definitely hang out in the new year.
You too.
Take care.
You too.